I feel bad for the Christian dudes, or sorry, the so-called Christian dudes that think so-called Christian girls are different than the so-called secular girls. That I feel bad for. These be like the same dudes too. They'll be like, an older woman is better than a younger woman. I'm sorry, an older woman is better than a woman our age. And you don't understand that the women your age got all their advice from the older women. But I digress. Here you have a video that I'm about to show you where you have a group of Christian women and they're playing a game, a dating game, where a woman's going to ask, he's a Christian guy, but he does this.
Right, he's a Christian guy, but he doesn't have a job. All right, he's a Christian guy, but his best friend is a girl.
Wow, that's shocking.
All right, he's a Christian guy, but he's tatted. Tatted, he has tattoos. We're all good with that. All right, he's a Christian guy, but he only texts you late at night. That cleared out. He's a Christian guy, but he doesn't have a car. Alright, he's a Christian guy, but he's shorter than you or the same height. Shorter than you or the same height. He's a Christian guy, but he wants to split the check 50-50.
But he's a teenager.
Alright, he's a Christian guy, but he follows Instagram models. She is secure in herself.
Yes, she is.
He's a Christian guy, but you always have to open your own car door.
That is not okay. That is not okay, girls. That is not okay, girls.
He's a Christian guy, but he doesn't want to wait until marriage. That's you.
Now, ask yourself this. If this was a group of secular girls, would there be any difference? But I just want to hammer that point home, because I will see dudes on here. It'll be like a dude going getting, something that happened, something didn't work out between a man and a woman, and he's like, oh, that's because the woman's not Christian. And you're just like, dude, Aisha Curry. Anyways, let's do a quick rewind.
All right, he's a Christian guy, but he doesn't have a job.
I want to pause at every single question. He's a Christian guy, but he doesn't have a job. Look at the results, right? Obviously, they're going to say the right thing, but let's keep it a buck. If you don't have a job as a man, we already know your time is limited. If you ask men the same thing, she's a Christian or she's a good girl, but she doesn't have a job, most men will stay. Let's keep it a buck. If we picked a girl and she had a job and then she ended up losing it and never getting one again, if you ended up leaving her, it wouldn't be because of her job or her losing a job or the status of her employment. It doesn't really matter, because we already know at the end of the day, when it comes to women and their money, you're still going to be footing most of the bill anyways as a man. That's why I laugh when people say, oh, they're intimidated by boss women. I'm like, no, it's just, we don't care whether you're a boss woman or you have a job or not. I've never heard a dude ever say, man, I got so hard when I saw her degree. You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. Men are not intimidated by these kind of things, but this is the nonsense that we got to deal with.
All right, he's a Christian guy, but his best friend is a girl.
Like I said, they're trying to do the right thing. It's first of all, the women that left, they probably realized they're big hypocrites, because at the end of the day, these are like I said, these are the same ladies that are going to tell you that will tell you, oh, my best, I have a guy best friend, we're just friends, so they got caught. They got caught. That's the reason why most of them are staying, because they understand if they leave, they're going to look like massive hypocrites. But they already know. They know. This is why, like, when you have a woman talking about, oh, this is my male bestie, and you don't trust that situation, you're right not to trust that situation, because they understand the dynamics. They already know there's no such thing really as platonic friends, a platonic friend of the opposite sex, right? They know this.
Christian guy, but he's tatted. Tatted, he has tattoos.
Notice nobody leaves, because we already know women like men with tattoos or dangerous looking men.
We're all good with that. Right, he's a Christian guy, but he only texts you late at night.
So we got these two ladies that are going to stay. That's because they probably don't know what that means. These are probably younger ladies. These are probably girls that are like early in high school. and they don't understand that if he's only texting you at night, that means you already. Oh yeah, just the FYI to any young ladies that are watching this, that's facts. If he only texting you late at night, I'm talking about only. You know what I mean? If that's the only time, especially if he's significantly older than you, and he doesn't like being seen out with you, but he only texts you late at night, that means you're only there to basically be. You're basically a human toilet tissue to him, if that makes sense.
I cleared out. He's a Christian guy, but he doesn't have a car.
But like I said, this is going to be, at the end of the day, most of these girls are looking at each other to make sure they're doing the same thing, because when you're talking about a group of girls, they're not going to make the decision by themselves. They're going to look at everybody else and then make their decision.
All right, he's a Christian guy, but he's shorter than you or the same height. Shorter than you or the same height.
See how is this different from the secular girls, right? You know, short king this and short kings are fine and all this. Nah, just the fact that they got to put king next to it just shows it's actually demeaning. It's actually demeaning. Women just like men that are bigger than them, right? It is what it is. Now, like I said, nothing changes just because she's a religious woman. I already know there's a bunch of, like, you know, short Christian dudes that are like, well, they don't know. Nah, it is what it is, dog. And I always say this: if you have problems in terms of dating as a shorter dude, it's probably because you live in America or you're just dealing with American raised, you know, mentality women. You know, that's just really a Western thing. If you go overseas, even like in Europe, it's really not that big of a deal. But notice how, if this was a group, you wouldn't be able to tell if this was a group of secular girls or Christian girls.
He's a Christian guy, but he wants to split the check 50-50.
Like I said, and look, all you hear is know your worth. How is this different? How is this different from the secular girls? How?
When he's a teenager.
Okay, he's a Christian guy, but he follows Instagram models. She is secure in herself.
Yes, she is.
He's a Christian guy, but you always have to open your own car door.
That is not okay, girls.
Notice a lot of them were about to leave, but they all looked at each other and they realized, okay, let me just stay.
He's a Christian guy, but he doesn't want to wait until marriage. That's you.
Now, all of them cleared out for that one, right? But let's keep it a bug. All those girls that cleared out, are they virgins themselves? No. Let's keep it a bug. You know what I mean? But this is what you got to deal with as a Christian dude. If you're looking for a so-called Christian woman, this is the nonsense. You still got to deal with the nonsense. I wish to God that I can never find that video where this was it was like I think a predominantly black church, and you had a single mammy, you know, single woman coming up to the mic, right? Because they had like one of those, you know, those things where they pass the mic around and say something, what's your grievance, right? And she started talking about, oh, there's no single men in church because it's 90% of the men are taken and the single men are taken and the rest they're married or about. And she just basically made up a stat. You know how black women are; they'll just make up stats on the spot. Anyway, so the pastor was like, "What? Hold on, let me." He said, "Let me do something real quick. Any fellas that are of age and are single, I want you guys to stand up." And you just see a whole sea of single men stand up. So I'm talking about, he said, even if you're working right now, if you are a single man, I want you to stand up. And there was plenty of single men, plenty. I'm talking about so much like you could even you could hear the women. You could hear them. The mic picks them up and they're like, damn, I didn't know there was so many single men in this church. Because at the end of the day, let's keep it a buck. That single woman that went up to the mic, she's only looking at the musicians. She's only looking at the pastor's son and anybody that's connected to the pulpit, the people that you see on stage. She saw they were taken and she thought, oh, okay, there's no single men left. She's not looking for the dudes that are that are the ushers. She's not looking at the dudes that volunteer at the kitchen. She's not looking at these people. She's not looking at the people that do parking ministry. This is the mentality. This is the it don't matter if it's the bitch is from church, if she's not from church. And like I said, it don't matter if I'm talking about a black church, an American church. It's the same secular mindset. There's no difference. And I always say, and I will say this, your best bet, if you are a Christian dude or a religious dude in general, your best bet is to find somebody outside of that religious structure. Believe it or not, I'm talking about, especially in America, your best bet is to find somebody outside of that religious structure. That's your best bet. If you're trying to find a girl in church, you're most likely dealing with a Reformed 304. It's specifically when you're talking about if you're a dude of a certain age, there's no doubt in my mind you're dealing with a Reformed 304, because a lot of these dudes, they be searching around once they hit like 28, 29, 30, and by the time the woman you're attracting at that age, you're attracting predatory women that are looking for a man to leech off of. You know, there's no such thing as a traditional, single 28-year-old woman. That's impossible.